Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Doink Weekly, the 7th of its kind once again. Alongside me, as was before, Potter, who's done an absolutely fabulous job of returning from his production background to actually join me in the booth today. So thank you very much for doing that, Potter. We've moved very swiftly through to the grand finals already, and I think it's a good idea for us to break the deadlock on who won that previous matchup in the opposing semi-finals.
Well, the team of kekw were the victors up against Playing Ducks. That is a roster consisting of Sorius, Lawley, and Mala. They'll be taking on Meaty, Simoon, and Led, as we've seen in the previous matchup, who took out the All-Stars. They're going to be meeting here in the final. And the winner of that will win the prize pool up for grabs today, which I believe is still €150. It hasn't gone anywhere, it hasn't increased, hasn't decreased, it'll stay the same as the past 7 weeks. And that winner will be walking away with said prize pool.
Yeah, and it's a massive haul to take away from one evening's work, it has to be said. And for both of these two teams, they're very much known figures individually, but in terms of breaking out of the bubble scene, both of these two teams haven't managed that quite yet. They're both floating around sort of the weekly tournament territory, fighting for victories in competitions such as these and looking to take themselves maybe to that next level. But the best of 5 series length this grand final is going to be. We've moved away from the best of 3. We're towards the business end of the competition, and hopefully for that purpose things are going to get a little bit more spicy tonight.
They definitely are, especially with that Ascence offense which we saw earlier on. But we may not talk a little bit about that. We can save that to the players to showcase on the field. And as we speak about the players showcasing things on the field, Psycho, we might as well speak about predictions. Which way and what team do you think this will go to?
Oh, dare I answer that question, Potter? Because I'm probably going to be wrong. It's a 50-50 chance, honestly. And I think I'm going to go for what could potentially be looked at weirdly as the underdogs in kekw. I can't believe those words are coming out of my mouth. Sorius and Mala, 2 veteran Italian players, if I'm not mistaken. And Loreley, he's a player that many people should come to know, especially for his 1s and 2s talents as well. Not only his talents on the field as a 3s player as well. And I think that's going to be the team which pushes themselves to that prize pool.
Well, really, after what we've seen in that past matchup, you're going to go against the Ascence esports team. There's no way I could predict the kekw side on this one. No disrespect to the players, no disrespect to the team which will be fighting on the field, but it should be more ego, more power to try and prove me wrong.
Yeah, and you know what? Ascence have just come off of this stream environment as well, so that's something which maybe doesn't affect them as greatly as their opposition in kekw, who've had a very peaceful run so far. They've not been intervened by any, well, nosy imposters in the spectating side of the private matches, but tonight they're certainly going to have that. They've made their way all the way to the grand finals, and I think it's a good idea we get these teams underway.
Indeed, it is always a good idea to get the teams underway. We want to see Rocket League. This is what we're here for. We're here to cast Rocket League. The viewers are here to watch Rocket League, and the players are here to win some cold cash. That's what these all want. This is why we set up these productions. This is why we do these kind of things. Asurius to start us off in the orange side for this kekw team, getting it out of defense, trying to find Mala, but Ladino intercepts Ascent. Able to deal with the ball quite well. Sorius again infield down to Lawley, already up for that early shot on, almost caught out Ladino, but hangs on and saves the Ascence esports side.
Saviour he's been so far, as 30 seconds have ticked on down. Loreley is going to fight for a little bit of space down the side of the field, but Meaty and Ladino doubling up at the back to make sure no harm is done. Simoon is going to loft this one high infield. Mala's going to get a nice dink with the back of his car. Loreley has already beaten one defender as well, and a shot potentially able to rip its way through, but touched away by the defender.
Simoon awkward, carrying it over his own goal line, but able to deal with it. Sends it up to Meaty, who deals with it even better. Ladino up for this one to try and catch it. Try and send through Sajmoon as Lawley, keeping it close. Forces over a massive midfield battle coming through. All players trying to keep it close and force these 50-50s through, but nothing coming through, and we're deadlocked in the midfield.
It's a beautiful thing to see in Game 1, I think, if you do have that sort of even midfield battle. That's what I like to see in a Game 1. I don't like to see teams crumbling under the pressure, and neither have done that so far, as Simon's going to get a lovely dunk. He's got no boost in the tank to work with, so he offers a proposal to the last defender to just smack him out of the way. There was no real choice in the matter, and unfortunately didn't quite pay off for him.
And Simon back in defense all over the field as per usual. Meaty to force it out even further. Ladino potentially to keep up the pieces. Forces out Lowly down to Meaty. Off the ceiling, bounce Simon. Try and drop it down. Meaty there to drop Simon. Drop down the ball. Send his teammate into it straight down, but no one there. But still nothing coming through for this kekw side. It's a similar situation as what we saw last game with the Ascence offense doing all the work, not getting any goals for it, and potentially a kekw counter-attack, and they find the first goal in this series.
And if that was the case, it would be an exact replica of the previous series, and I wouldn't be surprised, because that's so often how this beautiful esports works. As Meaty lost the 50-50 high, and Soris is going to try and find a teammate on the opposite side. Mala has done well to tip one up high. As Meaty over to the side once again. Laurie with a beautiful triple touch there, and Simon in his efforts to scramble back across his net just in case there was a player there has whiffed and missed out on the opportunity to see that one clear.
Yeah, I was about to say that the ball was begging to be put away off of the triple touchdown from Lawley, but Simon just allows it to be slotted away by Sorius into an empty net. Should not have ended up that way. However, it did, and I predicted the matchup inch perfect.
You have so far, and I imagine we'll be seeing, well, almost exactly what we saw last series, because it's almost ordained by fate at this given moment as Lawley works his way round, 2 touches to his name, but the shot not converted. Speaking of conversion, Meaty is going to do absolutely that. The last defender completely helpless for a shot of that pace.
Instant counter-attack, instant response. Ladino to Meaty, Meaty to the back of the net, and we've got a tied game. 2 minutes remain here in the first game of this series. I mean, what a way to start off a series of this caliber.
Absolutely so, and a 1-1 affair is a joyful way to get a game 5, well, a potential game 5. I don't want to really call it right now because it never works. A potential game 5 started as Ladino, or Led as he was formerly known before that interesting name change, tries to test out the defense to no avail. Sorius now with space in the corner, but a good demo is going to open up the space for Ascence.
Lawley trying to find somebody in field, opts to go alone. There is Ladino, big bang upfield to Meaty again. 2.0 of this counter-attack could have came through, but Marla to deny. Ladino to keep up the offense for Ascence as Lawley bangs this one away. Didn't want anything to do with the Ascence offense as Meaty, awkward touch. Simon this time not fumbling the bag of defense and is able to get the ball away.
Luckily so, no fumbling going on in that instance as 2 blue players are bested out, and Lawley has to stretch for the tight, well, gap between that lunging defender and the crossbar, narrowly missing out on the conversion. There's a shot placed to the left of the net, trying to test that last defender, and Meaty, who's done an excellent job hoofing it downfield. So once again, space presents itself. This surely is going to find the back of the net for Lawley. One last defender being hounded by the potential demo to come through, and simply nowhere to run.
What a double touch it was to snipe out that top left corner. A little bit of help from the post, from the crossbar, but it finds its way in eventually, and Lawley there to get the second goal for kekw. 40 seconds or so remain here. Do you think Ascence come back into it, Saka?
I think it's only sensible to say that they could. Honestly speaking, 30 seconds remaining isn't a lot of time to play about with, but we have seen more unlikely things happen as Led testing out the defense, and they really didn't budge. None of them wanted to fully commit just in case the dunk followed through. As Meaty once again off to the backboard, Led with a beautiful touch back into the corner. Meaty space to work with, 1 touch from the pre-flip could have been all that was required to see an opportunity, but the defense once again holding on.
Meaty there could be sniped out of no man's land with 5 seconds remaining, but couldn't make contact with the ball. 0 seconds down, all 3 players go for Ascent. kekw sends the ball to the ground, and kekw wins game number 1.
Yeah, and a great performance from kekw as well. And you know what? Your prediction as to how this game was going to go was very accurate up until kekw really proved better than we once thought, maybe after I guess, the midway point in that game, they fully established control, and Ascence really had little to offer comparatively to how we saw them in the previous matchup. And I think that's testament to the strength of their opposition in this grand finals.
Yeah, a better way of putting it is my prediction was going well until it wasn't. And that's kind of what happened in game number 1. And Ascence need to bounce back. It was only a 2-1 game, 1 goal in it, and they can definitely come back and try and win this series. It's going to be competitive no matter what, whether it ends up in a sweep, whether it ends up in a reverse sweep or game 5 or 3-1, whatever way, it's going to be close. I don't see any games more than 2-0 in this one, as Meaty could find the opening goal, does find the opening goal. I thought I was just going to bounce off the crossbar and go back into a kekw offense. However, Meaty finds the double touch and sends his team into the lead in game 2.
Yeah, and if he had, well, maybe 10 more boost in the tank, he couldn't have read it if that hit just above the crossbar. But fortunately, it bounced down straight into his hands, and maybe he's just a magician and worked out that trajectory himself. I sure didn't, but nonetheless, Meaty with a heroic effort to get an initial goal on the board. Led into his own back corner. Loreley with a very strong 50-50 infield. Soris space to work with, and what a finish that is.
Indeed it was. I mean, what a way to slot home. Dusts out Meaty in the process. Well, Meaty, furthermore, just does fires past the ball. And Sorius punishes the effort for him, slots it into the top left corner, and we've got a tied game yet again, with Ascence needing to fight back. They haven't taken the lead in this one at all. They need to take the lead if they want to win the game. Meaty could do exactly that. Oh. As it saves to the crossbar, the positive Cascaders doesn't work out for Ascence Esports.
At that time, but a counter-attacking opportunity very much missed there by the side of kekw, as the interlinking was there, but the contact was not, and Simoon already on the counter-offensive. A low touch underneath one player, and surely he's going to tip this one midfield as well. Led chasing that one furiously down, but Mala is going to see his defense free.
Still not coming through for any side. The midfield battle is something to behold between these two sides, as Alinio breaking out of the matrix, trying to find it into the centre, does exactly that. It's popped up for Simoon, who decided not to go for it, and it's boomed away by the kekw side. Still, just these booming players coming down, less of a midfield battle, and just trying to catch each other out. Sorius trying to make Simoon punish for his efforts, and this time it's double touched away. Mala there trying to just get something to keep it going for the kekw side, but Ascence could come out on top of all of this. Simoon's shot is saved away. Nothing coming out for any of these sides in 3 minutes left.
Oh, and that's a lovely little reach from Meaty to tip it above the crossbar. His last defender was in absolute dismay, as an air dribble bump easily could have seen its way through there and potentially bailed out his team on that occasion. Loreley with an air dribble through the skies, a beautiful flip reset as well. Led not having any of it, is going to send it deep back into the orange territory. An infield touch from Meaty. Once again, cleared away. Brief stint of space in the midfield, and both of these teams are going to reset to this sort of ping-pong style of play, perhaps.
Mala trying to dribble it out of defense. It's intercepted by Meaty. Potential double tap downfield. Couldn't find it. Relies off Simoon to pick up Beast. It's a great bump from Simoon onto that defender, but still no shot put away from either of these sides. No boost for the player of Ascence to keep the offense going, as Meaty collects the pieces. Could sort something. Could be the moment for Ascence Esports, but it also could be the moment which sends them down even deeper, as Mala just took that ball away from Meaty, sent it towards the Ascence net, but still nothing found in game 2.
Nothing found in game 2 in terms of an advantage either for one of these teams. 1-1, a deadlock which we're met with once again. As Led is going to find Meaty on the wall, an infield pass towards Simoon perhaps, but he's opted to take a shot, long range one at that, and certainly not testing the defense on that occasion.
Off the backboard, Soros is just going to be there to calm and collectively move that ball and transition out of defense. Ladino trying to do the exact same thing, but Mala, this is what this kekw side is so good at doing, just dropping it out, keeping the ball close, intercepting it of the Ascence players, and somehow that ball doesn't end up in the back of the net. On the flip side, Meaty flip reset, trying to get it into the back of the net, but still nothing coming through. Ladino touch over to the left hand side wall, could beat his man to the ball, but Lawley just takes it away from him, looking for a double touch onto Meaty as well, just to dispossess him of the ball, but still is a constant reoccurring theme coming out of my mouth, because nothing has been coming out of these teams in game number 2 to take this lead.
Oh, and it's painful, because still we've not seen a conversion from one of them just yet. And a backflip above Mala could have presented an opportunity the way of the Blues. Loreley, a flip reset down back into the corner, and 0 boost in the tank is going to give Meaty some difficulties to clear from his own defensive lines, but in unison they have worked their way out of that sticky situation. As led reset once again, they're very much reliant on these individual efforts to see their way out of their own back defense at the moment, and often we begin to beg the question, do they have the resources to keep this push coming? The Ascence very much do to hold on. One last shot coming through, not going to hit its mark.
Wouldn't say that just yet. Marla flip reset. Simon claimed the saviour medal. Well, the ball just kind of hit him and he got the saviour medal. Ascence dropping it down to Marla. Ladino wants absolutely none of it. Ball does eventually hit the ground, and we've got overtime here in game 2. Somebody needs to step up and be the hero for their side. Who's it going to be and for what team?
Well, I'm not going to answer that question on this occasion. I'm just going to let the action unfold, and Simon with space to maybe be that hero you mentioned. Unfortunately, well, didn't pay off for him on that occasion. As the bumps are going to begin to try and seep their way through from Meaty. There was 2 defenders on the back lines, and if one of them was wiped away there, could have presented a shooting opportunity. Mala with a very high touch to the opposition corner, led back infield towards Simon, a touch downfield, just hoping this defense is going to collapse, and well, being reliant on that style of play isn't going to convert yourself a goal in overtime.
Mala fake out onto Ladino, but still just lets the ball fly past him. I suppose Ascence picks it up, looking for a potential touch off of the backboard. Simon again still wants none of it. Rory there to his favour. Marla's going to have to get a touch away. Keeps it close, almost gets punished for keeping it close by Meaty as Ladino keeps the pressure going. They must be absolutely starved of boost in the defence of kekw. Ceiling shot, Ladino looking for the dunk onto Sorius, but it did not come through as Meaty onto the backboard. Is it going to get put away? No, it's not. I don't know how this kekw side has kept this Ascent side out, but somehow they have, and we keep going in this overtime.
As you say, the door is still very firmly locked from this kekw defense, as a shot is going to reach towards that back corner, and Meaty was close to overstepping his line there. And Simon is going to take his time and reach out for a pre-flip and beats one player in the process. He was completely unawares of his capabilities as an infield pass from Meaty led, reaching out for that top left-hand corner, and a long-distance shot doesn't often convert, but that one was jolly well close.
It was, but we still keep going here in this overtime as we approach 2 minutes into said overtime. Lawley popping this one up, potentially for himself, but just allows Ladino to get a touch on the ball, who finds it to Sorius of the opposing team, who finds it to Molly, who finds it back to Sorius, but still no angle of the net being proposed towards his kekw side. 2 minutes turns into 2 minutes and 15 seconds, and we keep going in this overtime. Wonder how long it will go on for. Well, it'll go on for until a team puts the ball into the back of the net. That player could be Marla. It could well have been Marla with the flip reset onto the crossbar. Double touch not found. Ladino onto the counter-attack. Has got all the space to work with, not so much boost though. It's a great bump. It's a potential open net. Everybody from Ascence did think that bump would have came out as they turn away from the play, and it gets dissipated away.
And it just needed one player following up to bite the bullet, to take the risk and follow that bump play which found its way through. And for that reason, kekw are still going to hold on as Sorius wraps one infield towards Loreley. A double touch opportunity for that particular player has been seen away, and the counter-attack already well underway.
Really awkward for Marla. Somebody had to come and bail him out of that touch, and that is what exactly happened as Lawley fakes out Meaty, pops it over to Ladino. Could be the perfect time to strike for the kekw side, but they're still forced away and back onto their own defensive spectrum. Lawley there again, always the man to get it out for kekw. Simon touch is this one away, only to Sorius. He pops it even further upfield off of the backboard from Meaty to Ladino, pops it off of the corner. Marlon's got to be the man to deal with it, does exactly that. Meaty 50 with Marlon, stuck in the corner, it's deadlocked away. Lawley picks up the pieces, 50 past 1, can go in the air, looking for a reset down to a teammate. No one's going to be there. Other than Sorius to force it through. Ladino picking it up on the goal line. Oh, how close the kekw.
Oh, and a beautiful piece of work from Meaty as well, which went undetected, lunging for a bump on the player that could have followed up as a third man on that opportunity, just sent him all the way back and said goodbye to that opportunity. So once again, that player working in the corner of 50-50 isn't going to spawn an opportunity from thin air on that occasion. Has led, backtracking, retracing his steps into the corner. Meaty, space in the air, not one that he can convert from with no boost in the tank, and Simoon around the corner of the plate. Going to find a 50-50, a double commit on the end of the Blues, but fortunately a dunk wasn't found to match it.
Popping this one up, it's only popped as far as Simon looking for the double touch, finds the double touch. 4 minutes 33 is the time on the cards, and what a time to pull it out from Simon. What an angle, a shot, and what a way to tie up the series.
And you could just see the confidence brimming from Simoon as he just reached elegantly through the air to follow up on that initial touch. As you said, a fantastic way for Ascence to take what could be the best game of the evening. Completely. I don't think you can top that match we just had, Potter.
Well, we can only top that much with even Rocket League, and that's exactly what we've got. This is why it's better that Ascence have tied up this series and for kekw to go 2-0 up, because then if Ascence win, if kekw win one more game, they win the series, they win it in a sweep. This way we are guaranteed at least 4 games of Rocket League, but game 5, surely the outcome of this.
You have to hope, as that last game was a very well fought affair, and Ascence, they showed a lot more vigour in game number 2. I think game 1 was a little bit of a struggle for them in that they really just didn't have an offensive showing. They were very much hounded by the side of kekw. Things have transformed back in favour of this all-Swedish trio that everyone has come to know and love in these sorts of weekly events. Meaty on the wall. The veteran trying to get a bump on Sorius on the wall there, but he's well, bumped his teammate for good measure as his opponent couldn't reach him, so he thought to repay the favour to a teammate. Didn't really work on that occasion.
Ladino Rory didn't work either as it's popped down. Simon's shot also has not necessarily worked as Marla pops it up. Meaty already up for it. Marla forced to go down underneath. Meaty still has a read onto Marla. Knows his every move as Simon to potentially pop this onto an almost empty net. I'm not sure what happened to the kekw defense, but it resulted in the goal for Ascence Esports.
Yeah, and I feel they were trying to interlink in the midfield there. As a pass over from the corner baited that, well, final defender into throwing himself at it, and 2 players beaten in one easy foul swoop. And already Ascence are going to extend their advantage further.
Potentially a 2-goal lead for Ascence would be the realistic and most wanted outcome for this Ascence side as Ladino pinches this one even further away. kekw not really allowed to break out of their own half just yet as Meaty dropping it down to a teammate Ladino to cut the rotation inch perfectly. Simon up for it. The comms on point for Simon to take that one away from Ladino, who looked destined to hit that ball and a double commit to be fulfilled as Meaty taking this one away. They're keeping the ball so close on this Ascence side and they're doing so well with it.
They absolutely are. Meaty is going to keep this pressure rolling with a demo in the corner. As Leds with a 50. Simon's going to wrap around, take this one to the corner where the free space lies. Demo on the last defender as well. I was thinking he could opt for a doink, maybe pop it up in field, but why not just wipe that last defender off the face of the earth?
No, Doink is the name of the tournament side. The goal was a big demo and an open net for Ascence Esports as they find themselves 2-0 up here in game 3 and almost destined to go up in the series, but it's not over yet. Marla flip reset, trying to get an instant comeback for the kekw side. They need to find something soon to allow themselves enough time on the clock to find something, forcing overtime.
Needs to find something quickly, this kekw lineup. As half the play has gone by, in a sentence we've said a couple times tonight so far already. Zeros on the board as far as the shots are concerned for kekw. It's got to be a troubling affair for them right now, as Ascence have really, well, continued the run of form that they found in that previous game as well. As Mala with a backflip is going to give Simon the opportunity to maybe poke one middle, but just ran away. He didn't want anything of it.
Well, Marla finds the goal for kekw. Ladinho, like you say, wanted absolutely none of that. Sorry, it's down to Marla. Marla to the back of the net. Half the game left. kekw primed to come back and tie this series up. Maybe even take it, but there's definitely more goals in this matchup.
Well, I hope you haven't jinxed us so far, because if it does end like this, I'm going to be woefully disappointed in you and will never have you return on a cast ever again. And I'm going to put you back in your cave where you do all the production work free of charge, like the little rat you are. But unfortunately at the moment, it looks like you might be correct. It might be the case that we have more goals left to offer in this game. It's just a question of when, not if.
There's 2 minutes left on this one. Time ticking down in the name of kekw. But for Ascence, it must be way longer than 2 minutes, or at least feel that way as Simon this time onto the backboard. It's going to drop down, beats out Sora. It's going to drop down even further and even more awkward for Marla, who picks it up, sends Meaty flying down the M6 as Lawley to pick it up, trying
Shall I take over, or have you just cracked yourself up a little? All right, I'll let you gather your composure once again with a comment about the M6, which really did come out of nowhere, as lead is going to come out of nowhere. What a beautiful transition that was. All my caster friends are going to be very disappointed in me for that. There's Meaty with a touch to the opposition third. Mala's going to work his way forwards past Ladinho, but only just. One defender at the back lines by Simon. An easy piece of pickings. There was an infield opportunity for this kekw side, and also a solo play opportunity. They opted for none of the above, and Meaty has struck and potentially given his team a nail in the coffin to win this game.
Indeed, Meaty striking at the perfect time, at the point where you think, well, there's enough time for kekw to come back, but if Ascence find themselves another goal, it's going to wrap up the series. The minute mark is around the time when you start to think that is the time when Meaty is most prolific. Well, Ascence giving themselves this 2-goal cushion. It's going to be even worse now if kekw somehow come back and it's just bad cast occurs and back in the cave, what have you. And Sorius sets me on the road back to the cave.
Well, the M6 is your destined road of choice to run back to that cave, and Sorius has taken all the opportunities he needed, and that was one of them. He's put it in the back of the net. That's all that can be said.
Well, 1 goal in it now. Say no more to that 2-goal cushion. As Marla trying to find the double touch pass down, not the touch he would have wanted, as Meaty booms this one away. 30 seconds left for Ascence to hold onto this game and kekw to come back into this game. Match point on the line here. 1 goal in it.
1 goal separating these two teams, and it's a gorgeous infield pass towards Lawley, and a fantastic finish to match, which came from really out of nowhere as Lawley fed his way infield, and what a shot that was.
Indeed it was. 16 seconds left on the clock yet again. It is a tied game. Who would have thought we would have had this a minute ago? Not me at all. 10 seconds from 16 as Lawley driving downfield. Marla there. Could have been an instant way to take the lead. Smash and grab, but overtime could be the result for the 2nd game in a row.
Jolly well could and should be, as Sorius with one last hurrah gets a dunk on lead. Absolutely no way is that going to test the defense, fortunately for them. And I know something that you said earlier, Potter, was a little bit unconvincing to me, that there was loads more goals in this game. I think you're absolutely spot on.
Yeah, but the comment about Ascence being able to keep the 3-1 lead has not gone well, has it, Psycho? As we do head into overtime, Ladinho driving it down. Double touch was on. Simon could not find the touch to send it beyond the kekw defense, and overtime still keeps playing out.
It doesn't. Well, the winner of this game, they're not going to be walking away with anything quite yet, apart from one step closer towards that $150 prize pool, as this is only the third game in this grand finals. As Simon into the corner now. Morley's going to collect this, and 50-50 is going to be met by Ladinho. Sorius, well, very much stuck in this sort of corner battle at the moment, really just trying to wrap around and win those individual battles, but so far kekw have won every single one of them.
Sorius does not win that touch. It almost just floated uniquely into the back of his own net as Simon trying to find Ladinho downfield. Does exactly that. Marley just to catch it on the goal line, trying to fake out Simon, but just opts to let him have the touch he wanted anyway as Ladinho with no boost. Just can only get it as far as Tamala, as Simon again picking this ball up, trying to find something with it. Finds Sorius, so he does get the save, and the pressure from Ascence is absolutely scintillating, but they've got no goal to show for it and no win in game 3 to show for it after this overtime.
And Mala with one kiss of death, or two kisses of death, make that a plural form of that particular word I used, and still couldn't find the back of the net himself either. It seems a struggle for both of these teams at the moment, as Simon lost 1/4 to a teammate on the other side of the field, and a bit too far gone he was and couldn't collect it as a result. Led in the corner, 1v1 situation, backed up nicely by Meaty, but a horrible bounce, a horrific eyesore of a touch, which almost spelt disaster on Mal's counter response.
Solid flip reset, trying to get it underneath Meaty, finds it to Sorius' teammate. 2 players go though for Ascence. Could be awkward, but they're able to deal with it quite well. This time Led is allowed some time in his own corner, but does not do too well with it, as Meaty finding him touch away. Needed the 50 with Lawley, as Lawley still driving downfield. It's pinched away eventually. Sorius to send it even further back down to Ladinho. We see the ping pong coming out of Ladinho onto the backboard. Could find the double touch second time around. The same angle as before. This time it's destined to the bottom left hand corner, and they win it again in overtime.
Same angle as last time. I think it's a bit better than that from Led. A beautiful finish from him, and if you do give that particular player space in the air, he's sure to punish one of the most mechanical players arguably in this entire competition, showing his worth once again.
Indeed, and they do it time and time again. Do these Ascence players, does this Ascence side. 2-1 up in this best of 5. One more game is needed. Is it going to head to a third consecutive overtime and a third Ascence win? Probably not.
Bold. Very, very bold from you, Potter, I must admit, coming straight out there and just say, yeah, probably not. I'm very much hoping this does find its way to a game 5, and it's been a spectacular run of form for Ascence to throw themselves back into the picture. And kekw now suddenly in desperate need of a response, as one loss separates them from defeat.
Well, this could be the final aim, the return of Potter to casting. Nope, Sorius picks it up. They need to send game 5 to keep me in a job. Lawley to get this one away. Still, it's only been 12 seconds, but still nothing coming out for either of these teams, as we're stuck in a 0-0 game. 20 seconds gone now. Simon touching it down. It's a great pass from Simon to Mala on the opposite colour. He's playing in orange, he's not playing in blue, but somehow you still pick him out and he still slots it into the bucket.
And a gorgeous pass from the blue defense, unfortunately, towards an instant response. And a gorgeous finish from Mala as well. In the early stages, kekw have provided that response, but off of some sloppy defense from the Ascence end, as another shot rips its way through. And how many times have we seen, well, a goal followed up swiftly by another?
Yeah, I'm going to use the same analogy for the third time in a row. When you wait for one bus, 2 then come at once, and again, this time on the flip side, it's not 2 goals up for Ascence, it is 2 goals up for the side laughing at you. It is kekw. Lawley trying to make it 3. It's only been 30 seconds gone in game number 4, but they need this game 5. They desperately want this game number 5, and I think they're going to do anything it takes to get this game number 5.
Absolutely, and it might be time to maybe opt for that semi sort of half-hearted park the bus strategy already, as I'm sure the confidence is going to be there. They just need to hold out for 4 minutes, which is actually quite a wealth of time to be wasting. As Laurelie, with a poor touch, finds Meaty. Sorius is going to be there to back up his team, and a counter-attacking opportunity presented, but, well, unexpectedly, Ascence is just going to slide themselves right into that situation and have none of it.
Sorry, we've got time and space to work. There's not a lot of boost to do anything with, though. 3 minutes 40 left for Ascence to come back into this game. They need to come back into this game if they want to win it in 4. 5 still on the cards, and 5 most likely on the cards, but I need to stop talking about the next game, which is definitely confirmed at this point in time. 3 minutes 20 remain. Still, Rocket League is happening on our screens. Simon trying to get a bump onto Laurelie. Meaty to send it even further down. Seems like kekw just want to allow time to pass. They're not stretching out too far. Our defensive rotations are tight. They're playing extremely safe. Sorius here just keeping it close. 50 and get past. It's a great pass from Sorius, but just allows Noah to get onto it, or at least that's what's the game.
And Simon reaching for one more dunk. kekw have done well to hold their lead so far, as they burned a minute off the clock quite quickly, and I think there's only been one attacking response. Simon's going to make it 2 with a lunge towards the crossbar. I think kekw, for the time being, are completely unawares that there is a ghost caster in the form of, well, yourself, Potter, is very much pulling the strings for them to continue their run of form.
Yeah, like I said, the game 5 is definitely not confirmed at this point in time. As Laurelie, that save sums up how this game is just not confirmed at all. Sorius to drive it down this right-hand flank, trying to make it 3 for the kekw side. Could not do so as Meaty, stuck in a 1v1 opportunity now with Marla looking for the bump, could not find the bump, and Laurelie again proving how this game is definitely not going to a game number 5.
Not just yet, at least, as Meaty is going to find his way to the backboard, and a dunk as well for his efforts. Not sure that was what I expected there, but that is, well, that is what happened, and that's that. There's Laurelie, very high lofted touch, and a shot's going to rip its way through from Mala softly. So a beautiful save with no boost, and Led has flown himself across his own back net, lunged and hoped, and, well, his hope has really come into a reality somehow.
Well, what a save it was from Led. Sorius driving it downfield. This game far from over as Marla onto the backboard. No boost to follow it up. Could allow a shot from Laurelie. Didn't expect the backboard player to just go past the ball, but that is what happened. That's the formation of the world we live in. There's a minute and 15 seconds left in this one. It's kekw pushing for a 3rd goal. Ascence pushing for 2. Great pass down from Laurelie to Marla, and somehow the saves still keep coming out from both of these sides. Sorius is shot off of the crossbar. Laurelie's going to cut in for it. Meaty had the ball in his hood before Laurelie could even think about going for that ball.
I don't know why I'm getting so excited for kekw almost scoring a 3rd, but not really converting or finding that opportunity, as it's Ascence who need to work their way back into this game to make it an interesting affair. But honestly, the defensive display from Ascence in these latter minutes of play has been absolutely miraculous, nothing short of brilliance. There's a backboard touch, finds its way through a demo from Sorius, is going to zap away that empty space looming in front of their net, and kekw, I think it's fair to say and fair to call it at this point that they might have got the job done.
Like I said this 3 minutes ago, what's with the dog?
I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I should have listened to you. Your gut was clearly correct all along.
Well, 5 seconds remain, and I think, you know what, I think Ascence could win this one. As Laurelie just gets it up, trying to collect it. It's an amazing ground dribble from Laurelie. We're going to game 5. What a surprise. It's almost like I said that before. Well, Champions Field on the horizon. We're both tied up at 2 apiece. These teams, not were both. These 2 teams are both tied up at 2 apiece. Which way is it going to go now, Simon?
Oh, don't ask me that question, as we've just seen kekw with, I don't want to call it domination actually, but 2 goals they had, the opponents had none. So clearly they dominated that last matchup according to the Genius Brain. But nonetheless, we're going to remove that tempo and swiftly change that up to really big up the grandiose Game 5 which we have on our screens, and we all hoped for on tonight's grand finals, as Led is going to poke one up, and Laurelie and Sorius both diving for that particular ball, but Laurelie finding himself with an ugly 50-50 back infield. A touch reaching Simoon at the back. A double touch. He's found one so far tonight, but can't make it two.
Nope, no, they could not. 4 minutes 30 left in this one. What a surprise. We haven't been playing game 5 for that long. Lawley sending it downfield. No one going to be in centre other than Needy to get it away for the Ascence side. It's not going to come off the ceiling. In fact, it is going to come off of the ceiling. My rival brain cannot work this one out. Lawley trying to get it down in field. Marla's there. This one I can work out. It's a written story for the kekw side. We knew that one was going to go into the back of the net as soon as we seen it. Lawley get it past the side. It's an open gulping net for Marla to soft home the ball, and they do exactly that.
They do exactly that. And a written story with a thickening plot at the moment as kekw have thrown a spanner in the works to all the flow that Ascence had going forwards as a shot just wide of the margin. That needed to be converted to really energise this roster. There's a forward touch from Meaty, finding lead downfield. Simon's going to really take his time over this one. Beat one defender. He needs to make it two if an opportunity's to form. But Loreley, such a player he is in those 1v1 scenarios, is certainly going to get the job done.
Driving this one downfield, bump onto Marla, top of the backboard. Nobody on the backboard though for kekw. Marla, what a recovery to get up to that ball and stop any oncoming shot for any Ascence player. As Meaty touching this one away, still keeping it close. It's a really good theme from all of these players at this level. Meaty still trying to keep up with this ball. Lawley touches it away from him. Touches away from Simoon as well. It's an open net for Torius, but Ladinho, what a recovery yet again to scramble back to that ball and keep their team in it. They do not want to be going down to 2 goals against them. Simoon still off of the corner, double touch coming through, so trying to force it with any which means. Ladinho shot denied away by Mala as the counter-attack could come through. Marla still trying to get it onto Lawley's cars. Simoon just denying that one yet again. It's an oncoming for me, just denying it, hitting it away, denying it, hitting it away. It's what these players do. It's what they're trained to do. It's what they have been doing for so long to get to this level, to get to the situation we're in now.
Just needs one opportunity, Ascence, to get the ball rolling and equalise the scoreline potentially. And I think what's going to be recycled in the brains of all of these Swedish players is a famous clip which came out of a LED stream about doing what's right and doing it for your country. As LED is going to throw this one over to Simoon in the corner. A double touch almost found Asorius, bonks that off the backboard. An ugly recovery from Meaty spells disaster in the backfield, and kekw unexpectedly really pressing their lead further.
Well, Meaty not going down the M6 because the M6 is not a Swedish road. Going on some other Swedish motorway, trying to scramble anyway back to that ball, but it was not coming through for them. There's some kind of traffic jam on the road blocking him from getting to that ball. 2 minutes remain for Ascence, and they need any which way. They need a fast track, they need a toll road, they need to pay to get down, to get to the ball as fast as possible, to beat out this kekw side. Ladinho touching that one away from Asorius, and they could have a lifeline here in game 5.
They could, but it looks like exactly the same dire circumstances as was presented in that previous game. All of the heroics to see future goals out of their own back nets, but simply no way of getting forwards. And they're stuck in this loop of despair, this cycle of pain and suffering once again. As LED trying to take a fast track down the E6, the Swedish equivalent, to try and make something work in the offense. A touch awkwardly presented in front of Loreley's own back half, but how can I doubt his performance as a 1v1 player? Meaty diving in field, capitalises on that loose bit of space in the midfield.
Great shot from Meaty to finally slot it home for Ascence. This is what they've been needing all game. They've got 1 minute and 13 to conjure up something out of the back rooms, bring it to the real world and slot something else home to get any kind of hope of winning this game. I think at this point, again, if kekw find any kind of goal, it could seal the victory, could seal themselves that prize pool, but Ladinho doesn't want it to be the case. It falls out to Simoon, who just takes his time, taking it really awkwardly and really inefficiently across the net. Teammate had to come and bail him out of it. Still, minute left, or that about. to get something. It's crossed dangerously across the face of the net. Simon to touch it down to Ledinho. It's a great pass off of the ceiling. It's an unconventional back pass, but it did work out for them. And that minute has zapped down to 30 seconds. They need to find something, anything. kekw don't care. They need to delay the clock. Ledinho there couldn't be victorious. It could be an open net for Lawley, but couldn't find the shot as Simon recovers and gets back into position.
A high touch, Mala, a shot towards net, and Led is going to charge, be the leading figure of this potential counter-attacking opportunity. As Meaty, one last hurrah, one last heroic effort is all that's required as Mala is going to kiss that one off to the side. And Led, he's done it for his country, he's done it for his people, and he's done it for the supporters, the hidden ghosts in the background. And a beautiful finish might push this Swedish line up to overtime.
Everybody in the traffic jam on the E6 has gotten out of their cars and they're jumping up in celebration. The grand prospect of Led bringing the Ascence team back into potentially winning this game. Game 5 overtime is what we've got on the cards. 1 goal to win it. 1 goal for 150 euros as Mala trying to get it down for kekw. Ledinho to get the touch away. Simon off of the right hand side. Well, could be a 1v1, but Lawley just able to beat out his opposition. Lawley flipped reset. Doink was there. Sorius this time in the air. It's really dangerous. It's not what you want to see on the side of Ascence. You do not want to see Sorius driving at you with boost and in the air. This touch is away. Meaty there to get it even further for Ascence as Mala to pop it up, trying to find Lawley, but Simon the first man to it. Mala there though, off of the backboard. Simon's got to deal with it, does deal with it very well at that. Sorius driving down the right hand flank. Ledinho there, Lawley, the speed coming out of this man all series. He's got the Turkish speed in the veins as we approach a minute into this overtime. I mean, this is so close. Any moment you need a spark of brilliance to be able to win your team this game.
Spark of brilliance might be what's required in this instance, as Meaty was an inch from throwing that down beneath the crossbar, but slightly rushed his opportunity at the very last second, and an infield ball is going to cause kekw an opportunity. Simon is going to pounce on that little bit of space though. Lawley back into the corner, has space to work with, knocks it over one defender in Meaty, and a dunk is going to be reached out for as Led pouncing forth. Meaty now back over to the opposite corner, a glancing touch reached for by Led but not reached at the end of the day as Mala infield towards Lawley. Back forth it goes and straight back into the corner.
Well, Ascence, they've done so well to come back from 2 goals down. They do not want to be bowing out in an overtime. They want to get the job done. Almost had some assistance from Lawley in doing exactly that, but he had it calculated and precisely cut out onto his own post. Mollets and Orca touchdown. They're able to beat out 2 players. A bump from Simon is amazing onto Sorius, and Meaty slots it home to win it for Ascence in a 3rd overtime win for the team in blue.
A historic win for Ascence, who against all odds overcame the ultimate challenge. They were in despair, they were in misery in their own back half for the previous half of, well, the last 2 games really, suffering and not knowing how they could transition into the offense. And a heroic effort from them at the very dying seconds of game number 5 is what has given Ascence today's victors the €150 prize pool, and also a massive amount of pride for today's accomplishments.
Well, what a game, what a series, and what a broadcast of Doink Rocket League. This is what we get every single week, and it's a pleasure to be here doing it this time around. Congratulations to Ascence Esports and somehow coming back and winning that game 5. Commiserations to kekw, you brought it to the wire. I mean, 1 goal in it, you can't get much closer than that. But I mean, that is it for Doink Weekly 7. Ascence are your victors. I mean, Psycho, it's all but over.
It is, unfortunately, and what an event today has been. That grand finals was one of the most special ones that I've seen in recent history for me, and obviously as someone who's watched Ascence play time and time again, I can't help but support them when they do succeed, and today there's every reason for them to be up in arms, and very much proud of today's performance. And as you say, commiserations to kekw as well. He did give us a very strong showing today, and I believe on paper, one of tonight's underdogs as well. I don't think kekw had the expectations to make it all the way to the finals in terms of the seeding here tonight on Doink, and what a performance they gave us in the grand finals. Unfortunately, it wasn't for their taking tonight, but there's plenty more action from Doink in the future, as you can follow them on all the social media platforms that may become available, and I'm sure those are going to be shoved your direction. Doink GG on Twitter. Make sure you're keeping up to date with them there, as well as there's going to be plenty more of these competitions. But I think, Potter, it's about that time we're going to have to call it off.
Well, indeed it is, but not just yet, because I want to say I got my prediction right again, and that's all that matters to me. Well done to Ascence. You won the series, you won your money, but most importantly, gave me my correct prediction. And who knows, maybe I'll get more correct predictions in the future. But for now, I'm happy to retire on a 100% prediction rate. But that's going to be it for this week. Like Psycho has mentioned, we'll be back with you at the same time next week for more Doink.gg weekly action. We'll see you then.